guys, Mike here. So, but what a day in the market, especially for global liquidity. Okay, big day for that right there. If you didn't hear, we're going to talk about it because China just absolutely pulled the bazooka out and was like, boom, we'll just do whatever we got to do. And what they did was they followed our 2008 playbook, basically, where they finally said, you know what, we might be in trouble. So we need to start doing a lot more than what we're doing. All right, and if that don't work, we'll do more. So we're going to get into the details of that and why it's actually bullish for our stock market as well, like it needed anything more, right? And so we're getting into that. The charts, Nvidia, Tesla, obviously both had really good days, and there's a reason for that, and I'm going to show it to you. But when you look, obviously, I always keep you guys updated on what's going on with the economic data and stuff. Again, we went down, we sold down early because you had the conference board consumer confidence, which normally when it's going down, the market's going down. This is another indicator that's smashed and broken, because you can see when it's going up, you see bull markets, right? When it's going down, not happening. Again, the market is going completely against the grain. What do you got with manufacturing data? I can't believe it. Still in contraction, below zero, still trending down for 3 years now, it looks like, right? And so you can kind of see to the left what's normal. Staying above zero, stay in range between like 0, 20, 25, somewhere in there. But again, what's it all about? Look, I told one of my members I was going to borrow this. She put it in the Discord, to liquidity and beyond. Okay, that is the #1 driver of all markets is liquidity. Okay, and when you look at this right here, here's what China did. They try to pull out all the stops here. They said they're going to cut the 7-day reverse repo rate to 1.5%. Lower the RRR by 0.5%. Don't worry about what a lot of this stuff is, by the way. It just shows they're cutting a lot of stuff and making it easy to get money, okay? So basically what this even says, basically what this means is the government's putting more money into banks so they can lend more. Then you got a potential 0.3% cut to the medium-term lending facility, MLF. And so what this is going to do is allow them to give loans to people cheaper. Then you got the minimum down payment for the second homes dropping 25% to 15%, easing mortgage costs on $5.3 trillion in loans and stimulating house demand. We'll see how that goes. And so basically what it means is it's cheaper for people to buy their second home, because remember, 70% of their wealth is tied up in the housing market over there. Their whole economy is not based on the stock market. Why are they doing all this? Well, just check it out. Here's foreign direct investment in China. There's 2020. Oh, loving life. Look at this one. That's 2021, 2022, 2023. Fell off a freaking cliff. All right, people pulled out. You remember all the big boys were on there going, nope, we're out of there. And this is one thing that has helped keep this stock market going over here. Every time you say, what's going on over here? I don't understand. Well, when the second largest economy in the world is a mess, well, big money's got to put that money somewhere. All those rich folks, Ray Dalio and all of them, and they're putting it here. Okay, that's the way it works. And so every time you go, I don't understand how this is still going up. Well, that's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons it just continues to grind higher and higher. Even when you see the data going down, and normally the market be going down with it, like, nope, sorry, as somebody said, and I'm kind of coining this myself, which is we're the cleanest turd in the toilet bowl. That's the way it is. Yes, we have a $2 trillion deficit, $35 trillion in debt. I mean, unbelievable amounts of commercial loans coming due, all this crazy mess. But look at everybody else. And they look around, they go, a little safer bet here, believe it or not, right? I mean, here we are. And so, again, how is this bullish for our stock market? Because look how many companies do business in China. Look at Tesla. Tesla popped immediately. It wasn't because they sold any more cars, right? They popped off this news. So you see, we'll see what it does for Apple and all these different companies, because a lot of American companies that trade on this stock market get a lot of their revenues from China. And so if they can get those people to start spending more, hey, there you go. Now, what you're getting is the initial reaction. Oh, here's stimulus. Look when we did the Fed rate cut. Oh, my God. Woo! Right, look at 2020. We were shutting our houses, and the stock market went crazy. Right, because of liquidity, #1 thing. News, #2. Underlying all of it is the bond market. How's the bond market doing? I show members today. Still doing fine. Right, and you see when it starts to do bad, like in July, you'll know that's when you get a major reaction down, okay? But that's why. And so we'll see what happens off this initial pop after everybody digests and everything, because you won't know for like months and months, probably well over a year, if it's actually working. It's no different when they raise rates here in America or anywhere and they cut rates. You're not going to see the effect right off the bat. It doesn't work that way, okay? And so we'll see how it goes. But again, the market it's like a junkie, right? It wraps its little arm up, shoots a needle in, okay? Any kind of liquidity it can get, that's all it cares about. Okay, that's all it cares about. So just keep that in mind. We'll see where we go from here, because you saw obviously these Chinese stocks, and I talked about them yesterday going, wow, these two hadn't broken out yet. Well, they broke out. JD up 13%. Baidu, we'll look at that chart because it actually is technically almost broke out, right? Because it's been so far down. Bob, a huge day. PDD, big day. Obviously, there's C-Web. ETF up 20%. FX up 9.43%. When they announced this, we were all sleeping. Their index in China went up 4%, right, in one day. But we've seen this stuff fade in the past when they did smaller measurements. That's why I said you're getting the initial pop. You look at Baidu, it's sitting right there, right above that trend line right there, the short-term trend line. But you need to keep in mind, this stock right here used to be a $350 stock. Okay, it's sitting at $94 right now. It's just destroyed over like 3 years, right? But again, it's in that shaded area. It's starting to break out. It can continue these big moves up and everything, and we'll see if these are gap and goes or they're going to come back down. Again, every time they introduce stimulus, they ain't been this big. We usually get a huge spike up and then it sells off, but we'll see if this holds, okay? Now, looking at our indexes really quickly here. You can see SPY on a shorter term time frame here, looking at a 30-minute chart. You can see it's almost like an ascending wedge, right? Where you're sitting there looking at this going, oh, and usually, these can break either way, but normally to the upside. It just keeps testing it, and that's all-time highs right there. So if this breaks above, there is no resistance up above this, okay? And so if it breaks above, you will definitely, anybody that is short will most likely start covering, because there's just no resistance for them to anchor anything to. And so they'll just have to go off fib and say, well, we might be able to go here, we might go there, whatever. And so that's what you're looking at with S&P. So if the bears want to step in, this is it. Like, they need to start stepping in, and they're having a hard time doing that. Every time you think they're going to step in, there's a sell-off throughout the night or in the daytime. They can't complete it. V-shaped recovery again, today, by the way. And so it just keeps happening over and over. You look at the Qs, a little different. I'm going to show you how you can get multiple of the patterns in these things, right? Like, this is a rising wedge, right? And so you look at this thing, and you're like, do I believe it's going to go down to 392 anytime soon? Probably not, because if you look in the past, again, does it have to happen now? No, because, there's a gap right above here. So if this breaks out of this, same way I showed you with Tesla, right? It was a rising wedge. Nope, sorry, end up going to a channel. That's the way it was. And there's that gap right above. So if bears don't step in, then boom, it's going to go fill that gap, right? Here you can see one, it didn't complete it immediately, but look what happened. About probably 2 weeks later, you end up getting, actually not even 2 weeks later, it's like a week later, ended up dropping down and hitting that target, okay? But you can see multiple times where it just didn't happen. And so that doesn't mean it has to happen. Here's another one you can look at. If you pull up this one right here, what do you see? Same thing, double top, all right? Same target and everything. And what does it have to do to break this? Just break above this level right here. Start heading to that gap, and it's over. Right? That's just not how it is. So if bears are going to step in, they're going to step in here. If they're not, I guess they're going to bow out, right? And help drive this thing up even farther, which sounds crazy, right? But that's what's happening. You got to follow the trends, and this is, again, there's more obviously risk, I can't say risk. There's more reward to the downside than upside right now in the indexes especially, but we also have to look and see if they're going to push the Qs up to get it to an all-time high. Remember, it's lagging, right? You look at IWM, basically what do you see here? It's like this flag, the bullish flag happening right now. So this could break to the upside as well. And it's been lagging, right? When you look behind it, as far as the SPY and the QQQ, like small caps haven't been performing like I think a lot of people thought they would when they did the rate cut. Initially, you got that pop, and it just kind of faded. And so we're going to see if this is going to start to break out or not. It's like Dow Jones Transportation is all over the place. It was down, and all of a sudden it was like about 1.2% today. Like, led the way, which is just crazy to me after FedEx just disastrous earnings. But again, it's amazing to see what the rotation is going into and out of. And so we get to see if some money starts to come out of other stocks here in America and starts to go into the ADRs of China, right? Or starts to go into something like an NVIDIA or the semiconductors. If MU does good tomorrow, that's what we got to watch out for, right? And so you can see that's what we got with IWM. NVIDIA, big day today, and what happened was it was literally slumbering. It was sleeping while Tesla was moving. And what happened was you had, as I told the members in the Discord, you had 3 pieces of news hit almost all at once. And so the first piece of news was the NVIDIA CEO is done selling. I mean, he sold $713 million worth of the stock. And so, of course, the algos picked that up, and they're like, yes, let's move. Like, one person selling really should tank a stock. But, Jeff Bezos did a good job of it with Amazon. So it seems like the algos care about that. Second one, boom, Taiwan Semiconductor secures $7.5 billion boost for Arizona expansion for advanced chips. Woohoo! Then the next one, AI, increasing investments in AI to boost Micron's Q4 earnings. And so, of course, all of them start to take off, but especially NVIDIA. Okay, when we go back there, you can see that trend line we had rejected 3 times, broke through it, still got this major trend line right above though. Okay, so this was a news push to the upside. So we'll see what it does tomorrow. Also, remember, Micron reports after the bell. That's going to probably set the tone. Okay, so if they can show growth and all that fun stuff, then things should be good. And you see where it basically bounced off of. It was the 50 moving average on this one. Okay, that's kind of where it springboarded once that news actually hit. So that's not a bad thing. Finally broke out of that little area. We'll see what happens again. You're looking around like 122 up to that descending trend line right there, which has been heavy resistance for quite a while now. Anywhere below that, you should see this trend line right here that it just broke out of actually maybe act support. And so we'll see what happens when it has no news and all that good stuff. Now, what Tesla do? Exactly what we talked about yesterday. It's in this channel. Did not think it was a rising wedge, but when it hit the top, boom, immediately sold down about 3%, stopped it, sucked back up, right? Still ended up well for the day, but so far it respected the top of that channel again. And so we're going to see, is this push even higher, right? Started going up 264, 265 now, or do we take a breather and start to come down about in the middle of the channel, right? We'll see if it respects the middle of the channel right there, around 245, 250, somewhere in that area, if it wants to mitigate that daily fair value gap right there. So we'll look at that. We'll mark it out, see what it's going to do. Again, I didn't see a huge amount of flows for Tesla coming in today. Again, I know it was the China thing that came out and really popped it up, but let's take a look at it tomorrow and see where it goes. Now, Unity we talked about last week, and I said it's in this volume gap. You can absolutely go up there at around 22, 23 bucks, and it was up big today, right? And it's getting up, closing near where it's supposed to be. But remember, we're talking about a stock, even with a 40-something% move in 7 days, still down 89%. Okay, and this is what I talked about. Watch the garbage. Watch to see if they start pushing up garbage. That's what you're looking for. I don't know anything about this stock besides what I see on the chart. On the chart, it's garbage. Okay, it's moving up, right? But what else happened today? Millions in calls. One in particular was like a $7 million call on this thing, but there was millions coming in. So obviously somebody knows something. And the reason why I said it'll probably stop right there, most likely around 24, 25. You also have the 200 moving average, which normally acts as resistance. So we'll see what happens. You have resistance and the 200 moving average. So let me know if you're in that one or not. Now, when you're looking at here, earnings, you got Centos, which will let us know about employment because they provide all those uniforms. And then the big one everybody's going to be listening to is Micron. Okay, this is a big one to listen to for sure and see what they got to say because nobody's showing growth like NVIDIA. We'll see if Micron has anything good to say. The chart's setting up. Seems like it's going to be good. But when you look at data, you only have new home sales after the bell and crude oil inventories. And so tomorrow we're going to get to see if the bears step in or if the bulls say, get out my way. We're going to continue to push this thing up. And again, if you set all-time new highs, we'll see where it goes. Again, there's no resistance above us, okay? But the market's going to do what the market wants to do, and it can stay irrational longer than you stay solvent. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, I hope you guys got something out of it. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you did. Feel free to sign up for that membership and listen to McDonald's combo. Appreciate all you guys that do and stuff. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you at all. Always appreciate talking to you guys. And so I will end up seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night.